line. That was a great football game, too. And it was Taylor losing to Indiana Wesleyan on their homecoming game. They were down 14-0, came back almost all the way and lost by a scant point at 14-13. And the homecoming Siena Heights game is underway. An end-over-end kickoff fielded on the 12-yard line. A little bit of a head of steam and a blocking wedge upfield. And the return on the play by Dijon Cotton, and he got out to about the 28-yard line. And that is where Taylor will put the ball in play. You heard Coach Matt Cohn talk about their quarterback to really watch for, a multi-threat individual, and Zach Saltzgaber. And they lost a great four-year starter from a year ago, and Everett Powell, and that just goes to show sometimes you just reload.
Yeah, it's hard to believe they could lose a guy like Powell and really not miss a beat. In fact, this Taylor team is so much better than a year ago. They're going to be a load here for the Saints.
Take handoff and bottled up on first down. And you saw with Saltzgaber, he handed the ball off and then took off as though he was keeping the ball. And that can certainly help freeze the defense when the quarterback's such a running threat. And you can see the way he's built. He is a guy who's not going to be at all afraid to carry the football. Last week he had 74 rushing yards and threw a 14-yard touchdown pass. So he is a multiple threat quarterback. This time he again hands off the ball to Spencer Crisp, their leading running back. He gets around the end for about 4 yards, and again they went after Saltzgaber because they know he can run it.
Yeah, that time he went with the zone read. He hung on to that football a long time, was able to hand off to Spencer Crisp. Crisp had 71 yards against the Saints a year ago in Upland, Indiana, and look for him to get a lot of touches here this afternoon.
Spencer Crisp from good old Centerville, Ohio, the Centerville Elk program. Long-time football power. It happens to be yours truly's alma mater. And they get near the first down marker, but just as it looked like he was going to power his way there, they threw him back, and that was Saltzgaber carrying. But they gave him the first down before the backward thrust. Take a look at the offensive starters here. A very sizable, tough offensive line. We've talked about Saltzgaber, the quarterback. He has a lot of weapons to go to. Spencer Crisp is their leading running back. And he had a 14-yard touchdown pass last week as he's around the left end, and he just got stopped there behind the line of scrimmage, and some good pursuit on the Siena Heights defense. The Siena Heights defense is becoming storied for their toughness, and you see the four-man front that anchors them, but they also get a lot of pressure from elsewhere. Griffin Sobel and Nick Stallworth are their outstanding linebackers. Trent Mora, we talked about, he can get sacks and interceptions. Gabe Callery made an interception in the end zone to stop a big drive, and it looked like might preserve the win for the Saints last week. A pitch out to Crisp around the left end, and he gets thrown down, but maybe he got pitched forward, so he was able to get the first down.
Yeah, nice pitch and catch that time. We're able to get around the edge, and once again, pretty sizable game. And Taylor doing what they want to do. They want to move the chains, control the football, win that time of possession. And right now, they've got 2 consecutive first downs, takes the ball just shy of the 50-yard line.
They have 2 first downs now on this opening series, which is tough to do, grinding it out against this Siena Heights defense. There's a delayed handoff, a flag flies, and Crisp gets about 4 yards up the middle.
Looks like we may have a motion penalty, and that might come back after what looked was going to be a 3 or 4 yard pickup there for the Trojans.
And it will be assessed on Taylor.
That's a 5-yard penalty.
To call illegal shift.
Take the ball back to
one guy making a shift while the other guy started his motion, which you cannot do. So that's going to take him back 5 yards. That's a break for Siena, as that's going to throw Taylor a little bit off schedule. As we mentioned, they love to run the football. They like to get 3-4 yards of play.
It's tough to do when you got 15 to go, especially against a defense like this. Flair out to the right. Slight delay there as Evan Kuchenberger, who caught that touchdown pass last week, just had to break stride for an instant. That allowed the pursuit to get to him. They still pick up 5 yards, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, well-designed play. They got out in the flats to Guckenberger right away. It was almost like a flare screen out there as they sent several linemen to the blocking, but great job by the Saints. Recognize that, get up the field, holding them to a minimal gain.
Saints are very aggressive, run to the football type defensive unit. Slight shift of their formation, then the ball fumbled. Saltzgraber, he had his timing thrown off on the option pitch. He had to keep the ball, and they pile him over for a loss of a yard. You could see how him dropping the football threw the timing off of that play.
That's exactly right. You know, anytime you run the option, it's all about timing. And once the football hit the turf, when Saltzgaber picked it up, really the only thing he could do was just try to minimize the damage there. And it's going to end up being a loss of 1. That's going to bring up another big third down situations for this Saints defense, a chance to get off the field here in the opening drive of the Trojans.
He looked to his left and said, nope, too late, got to keep it. And again, a flag flies. It's going to be a false start. And that is going to push him back yet again. And really put them in a passing situation.
Yeah, this is where the Saints defense wants to be. They want to force Taylor into those situations. It's certainly going to be a passing down here. Going to be no surprises. You can kind of lock in a little bit better, but right now we're looking at 3rd and 16.
Practically their entire receiving core, as well as their 4-year quarterback, graduated, so they don't have what you would consider a lot of go-to weapons, at least at this point. So they're not a down-the-field passing team typically. Saltzgraber flushed out of the pocket. He's going to have to run for it. Made a good move, beat his man, and got the first down because of that. Making that first tackle or miss. Stallworth finally on the tackle, but a great run by Saltzgaber.
Oh, tremendous run by Saltzgaber. You know, 3rd and 16, you don't have a lot of plays in your repertoire. And that time, Siena Heights sent 2 middle linebackers on the blitz. They did a great job picking it up. Saltzgaber recognized the blitz was there, got the ball to the outside, and once he created a miss, is able to get past the first down change.
Gabe Callery had a shot at him, but just couldn't quite haul him in. And he's a load to bring down in open field. Pitch out to Crisp around the left end and turns the corner, gets about 3 yards on first down. Griffin Sobel was over there, as well as Cole Merlin, number 11, who's the leading tackler on this team. A lot of the Saints players, they don't have any individuals that pile up monstrous totals of tackles because they gang tackle so much, and they're a team that really does it by committee.
Yeah, and Merlin had 15 tackles against these guys a year ago, so he's certainly a name you're going to see recognize the defensive side of things.
It's 45 to this point in the season. Fumble picked up, open field, and it is going to be taken to the house. And Callery, who just missed that tackle a moment ago, is made up for it in a big, big way.
Wow.
Touchdown.
What a play. Gabe Callery picks up the loose pigskin and takes it to the house. You know, what a turn of events. Taylor moved the football, watched the shot coming up right there. You saw the strip. And then Gabe Callery, he takes it down the left sidelines. And this homecoming crowd here at Siena Heights is on its feet, and it should be. What a start here.
Add an FF to Trevin Claiborne's totals. Forced fumble. He was the one that barely missed breaking up the 4th and 15 pass. It could have won the game last week. It went for a touchdown, and he certainly has forgotten about that, put it in the rearview mirror, and he makes a huge play to get the Saints up 7-0 early with 8:28 to go first quarter. Well, a big theme of the interview with Coach Matt Cohn before the game was resilience. And here's another great example of it. A missed tackle, they get a first down. The next play, the same guy picks it up, recovers the fumble, goes for the touchdown. And just next play wins, I think is the phrase.
Exactly right. It's about overcoming adversity. He talked about those life lessons, and what a way to bounce back.
And there's a big tackle, as once again the special teams coverage is excellent, and it is number 27, Ethan Lepresto. He's a very good running back. He's got almost 200 yards rushing, and he showed that he can tackle as well as run.
Well, you're right. And, Greg, everybody talks about this Siena Heights defense that comes into this afternoon's contest giving up just 8 points a game on the season. But a big part of that defense is the special teams play that consistently, pins teams deep in their own territory, forces long fields. And that time, another great special teams play on the kickoff. And right now, the Trojans will start their second possession in the afternoon just outside their own 30-yard line.
They were impressive running the ball on their first drive. Let's see what they do here. He looks downfield, but again, they flush Saltzgaber out of the pocket. And they managed to corral him after just about a 1 or 2 yard gain. Stallworth making the tackle.
Yeah, that was great defense by the entire Siena Heights line and secondary. The fact that Saltzgaber had no place to throw the football, so right away just tucked it away. He's able to get 1 yard. But once again, Siena Heights doing its job there, creating second and long situations.
Again, they showed that on the first drive. If you primarily have to rely on the run, you've got to be almost flawless. And again, they're stopped at the line. Spencer Crisp got bottled up there, and it's starting to look as though Taylor is going to have to show that they can throw the ball. Otherwise, they're going to be able to pin their ears back and play against the run.
Well, Taylor likes to establish the trenches there. They like to establish that line of scrimmage, but right now that Siena Heights big front line there is having other thoughts. They got some great penetration that time, was able to really get contact in the backfield, and holds the Trojans to no gains on second down.
3rd and 9. Saltzgaber swings the pass out complete on the out pattern to number 13. That is Ty Vizek from Perrysburg. So we've got a couple of Perrysburg players, Ian Ritzman. And once again, it's great to see locals from all over making an impact at this level.
Yeah, nice to see Ty Vizek get involved right away that time. Great recognition from Saltzgaber. Because that time they had all the gaps covered, but threw a quick out route, and Vizek comes up with a big grab in the first down.
So that will force them to respect the pass a bit more, and there's a quick burst up the middle, and that is a gain of 9 yards on the play by Tevon Middlebrook. And we've got Brandon Lowe on the sidelines with us today, trying to keep warm. Let's go to him now.
Yeah, what we saw in that last defensive drive, great play there by the defense, very textbook punch out on the forced fumble. by Trayvon Claiborne, and then Gabe Callery just to be able to pick it up and run it the length of the sidelines right in front of that when it happened. So I got a nice look in at it. Great punch out there by Claiborne, and that's very big when your defense can come out and force pressure like that early on in the beginning stages of a ball game. Back to you.
Yeah, that's what it was, a punch out. And they really punched him out by taking it to the house. That play looked like it might have gotten jammed up at the line of scrimmage, but they gave him enough forward progress for the first down. And it will be 1st and 10 Taylor on the Siena Heights 44.
Well, that's something Taylor likes to do. You know, they like to get those tough yards where they maybe get a yard or two and then fall forward for another yard. That time they're able to move the chains. And now they're looking at the football inside Siena Heights territory.
Once again, delayed handoff. That read option gave it to Middlebrook, and he picks up 5 yards. If they can continue to play like this and continue to grind out yards consistently, they can wear down the Siena Heights defense, and that might open some things up later.
Well, I tell you what, Middlebrook, for a freshman running back there, he runs awfully hard there. He gets a hole in a hurry, and he's not afraid to put his head down and try to churn for a couple extra yards. That time he comes up with 5 big yards on first down. Takes the ball inside the 40-yard line of the Saints.
Handoff, that was a little bit of a miscue, like two track runners who don't exchange the baton just right. No gain, but we got a flag down. Cole Merlin stepped up to make the tackle. We'll see what they would do here. Could be a 3rd down and 6. Or a 2nd and 11 potentially.
They are going to step that off, so it's going to repeat 2nd down.
As you saw, another false start call. That has been an Achilles heel for Taylor so far. They have hurt themselves with these penalties. It's the 3rd one that has gone against them and created long yardage situations for a team that's not really modeled for that. Showing pressure here. Fumble. Saltzgaber hops back on it. But another loss of down. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
Well, that time you saw the corner blitz there coming for Siena Heights, and what that does, even though he was not able to get to Saltzgaber in time, what that does is kind of throws the timing off a little bit. But there you see the miscue on the exchange.
Last play they had a semi-miscue. This was a total miscue between the exchange.
Yeah, they're just forced to get that back. But once again, they'll be looking at a passing situation, 3rd and 12.
Same 2 guys, Saltzgaber and Middlebrook. Got to get together here. See what they can come up with. Last time Saltzgaber scrambled for it. This time he's going to try it again. Broke a tackle just like last time. Skidded his way out beyond the marker, but I think his knee was down first. But we'll see where they spot the ball.
Well, tremendous run by Saltzgaber. You know, that should have been a no gain or minimal gain, but he got that within 2 yards of the stick. So now you wonder if it's going to be 4-down territory.
They're going to go for it. They think they can grind out 2 yards and keep this drive going. So a big play here. Just under the 3-minute mark remaining in the first quarter. Saltzgaber could keep the ball. He's been their most effective runner. And they've had problems with the exchange, too. He does try to keep it, but they snow him under. Great hit there. Nick Stallworth finishing it off, but the whole team was there.
Wow, tremendous job by the Saints defense. They come up huge in 4th down. And what can you say about Nick Stallworth? The junior linebacker gets through there, puts a hit there on Saltzgaber, and Trojans turn it over on downs. Siena Heights enjoying a 7-0 lead, trying to tack on. This will be really the first play from scrimmage for the Saints offense here.
Well, that's right. The first quarter's almost over. You wonder if they got a little too cute in the backfield there instead of just trying to grind out the 2 yards. Handoff. As you say, the first offensive play from scrimmage, and Caleb Jefferson, their leading rusher, entering this game with 440 yards. And he picked up 5. And there is The Siena Heights quarterback, Tyler Necht, he's having a solid season, as you see. 2 out of 3 completion average. And he's a good field general for them. His redshirt sophomore year. And that redshirt year is a very valuable year to learn the offense. And they stopped that running play right at the line of scrimmage. Major Daly made a major hit on Jefferson. Let's take a look now at the Siena Heights offense. And again, their offensive line is very, very solid. Chris Redway, we talked to him from Whitmer, the backup center, has gotten some action this year. Jared Jordan, Jalen Young, in addition to Caleb Jefferson, all get a lot of carries. And they're similar to Taylor in the sense that they have a young receiving core and some guys who played some reps last year trying to step up this year.
And awfully big third down coming up in their initial drive here. We're going to see a timeout being burned by Siena Heights here. The play clock was getting down.
Yeah, they had a little confusion there. They had one player get off the field, and finally they just decided to talk it over. And we'll be right back. 1:17 to go first quarter, 7-0 Saints. Third down and 8 from the 42, a play action. Necht with lots of time, looks downfield, finds a receiver, complete for the first down as he passed it out to the right flat, complete to number 29. That is Gage Holder, and the protection made the difference on that one.
Yeah, it really did. And great job by Necht as he did not really panic. You know, that time had a lot of pressure. He stayed in the pocket nicely. He was able to find his open receiver. Big conversion on third down, something they struggled with a week ago.
He needed that extra time to check down and find the open man. You see the defensive unit now for Taylor. And they are also very, very physical, very, very tough. TJ Swartz, their most experienced player. Jackson Breck is a major leader. Final 15 seconds of this first quarter. Pass out and picked off. Right into the numbers of Tyler Watson. And he returns it out to the 45-yard line.
Well, right now, as we near the end of the first quarter, each team now has a turnover. Really the difference, Siena Heights was able to get that scoop and score in the fumble, but that time we had a nice return on the pick. It takes the ball near midfield. And the Siena Heights offense, even though they've only been on the field for just a couple minutes in this first quarter, still hold that 7-0 lead thanks to their defense.
Just 2 seconds remaining. So Taylor now gets a big play. Not quite as big as the fumble taken to the house, but gives them a little bit of life. But Crisp, again, nowhere to go. Cole Merlin finally laid the hit on, but he had 3 guys draped all over him. And that's the end of the first quarter. 7-0. Siena Heights leading after one tough quarter against Taylor. Siri Hilliard and Lucas Field announced as the homecoming queen and king, respectively. That got the crowd going. Now here on a 2nd and 11. And the pass is broken up by Griff Sobel. And they are once again in a passing situation. They've been in those kind of situations far more than they would like, Taylor, as you see the players on the sideline for Siena Heights as they have a JV team as well as the varsity team, and those guys are all anxious to get in action, and they're on the sidelines for the games. A lot of competition on the squad.
Another big 3rd down here coming up here for the Trojans, trying to move the football.
Saltzgaber got hit hard as he released the pass. It is complete for a 1st down just beyond the 50.
That's going
as
to
he hit Evan Guckenberger.
be just a little short of the 1st down. So they're looking at a 4th and 2 here. They do have the punt team out on the field.
Yeah, the last time they tried to go for that and the way it worked out, I guess they decided to think the better of it. They have the chance to maybe pin him deep, and they're going to try that. And they punt by Mark Stroh. And did it hit somebody down at the 10-yard line? It looked like it might have been a live ball there for a moment, but ended up out of bounds. And Siena Heights will take over on the 14.
Yeah, good decision, I think, by the Taylor coaching staff to punt that football away. You got the wind at your back. You know, your defense has been really playing well, so try to pin Siena Heights deep in their own territory. They're going to start out inside the 15-yard line. So now an opportunity for that Taylor Trojan defense to pin Siena Heights deep in their own territory. The Siena Heights team that really has kind of been off and on offensively. They've had their struggles throughout their season. There you're going to see a motion penalty coming up against the Saints. It's going to back that up 5 yards.
Saw on the replay there on that punt return. I was already out of bounds. It wasn't really a fumble. And this should back them up inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like a false start. I guess the question is, was there a reason for the false start? But I did not see a defensive player cross that line.
They're going to go offside.
Well, he did.
Guess they saw something we didn't up here. So that'll put them, instead of inside the 10, it'll put them out near the 20 and give them a little more breathing room.
Yeah, that's a big difference right there, looking at 1st and 5 rather than 1st and 15 inside your own 10. So right now, if you're Siena Heights, you need to take advantage, find a way to sustain a drive.
Penalties are really hurting Taylor on both ends of the football. And there's a broken tackle and a 1st down. Jefferson gets out beyond the 24 to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, good hard run by Caleb Jefferson once again. He took a shot, was able to get some yak yards, moves the chains.
Just ran him over, basically. Trips right here. The single setback in this formation. Man in motion is Justin Carabino, their outstanding kick returner. Jefferson gets the ball for a couple of yards.
Yeah, another hard run by Jefferson, just straight up the middle. You know, nice and vanilla, but they run hard. Is able to get 3 or 4 yards there in 1st down.
Yeah, there you see almost 500 yards coming into this game, and he's very close to that now because he's had some sizable chunks of yardage that he has accumulated so far here today. Looks like a Taylor player is down, being attended to. So we'll take a break. 13:26 to go, 2nd quarter, 7-0 Saints.
To continue your football Saturday.
Neck fakes a handoff, keeps the ball, and not able to make too much headway on that play. As he is stopped by Jordan Jackson and Matt Wheeler. Now this Taylor defense, last week, they gave up 126 yards on the first 2 drives, gave up a touchdown. They fell behind early. Then they were rock solid the rest of the game, allowing only 114 yards. So if that's the case, they might get better as this game goes on.
Yeah, their defense has been very solid all year. There you see Neck dropping back.
Play action, wide open, caught. Shook off the tackle at midfield and down to the 30-yard line. Rumbles Austin Kreider on a big, big play.
Wow, yes it was. Once again, Neck throws a strike there, and you have to love the run after the catch there. He's able to fight his way all the way down to the 30-yard line. What a pitch and catch there by the Saints.
And that play action was very effective there. Austin Kreider, it's his 4th reception of the year. Again, they do a lot of it by committee. There's a delayed handoff, and it got really popped there. Jefferson at the line of scrimmage by Jordan Jackson, and it will be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, right now it's an awfully physical game down there in the trenches. You see Taylor trying to really fight their way through that line of scrimmage there. Siena Heights trying to establish the run. But, both these defenses so stellar. We knew that coming in. I mean, Taylor has a win against Division I Butler where they held the Bulldogs to just 14 points in a 17-14 win. So you know their defense has been awfully good. Again, giving up just 16 points a contest on the season.
Play action to Andre Chenault. Caught down on the right flat. And it's Justin Carabino making the catch for another 1st down, and they're starting to rev up their passing game.
Yeah, nice grab by Carabino out there. And again, that time they just flooded that right side. And you'll see Neck here roll out to the right, throws a strike. And there he's able to get the ball inside the 15-yard line. So right now, Siena Heights offense starting to really come alive. They're starting to mix in the pass a little bit more. They've had some success here. This could be an awfully big score if they can finish things out, something they've been pretty good at in the red zone over the past few years.
Carabino's first catch. Andre Chenault made his first catch on a big play in the last drive. So they're starting to work more and more players into their offense as Carabino took that swing pass, and he maybe picked up 2 yards before he was piled over. They want to get him in the open field. He's an excellent kick returner. He can beat people.
Yeah, you love to see the ball in Carabino's hands out there. Just let an athlete make a play out there. And that time, well covered by the Trojans, but he was still able to fight his way for 3 yards. So an excellent play there by Carabino, and they have the ball just outside the 10-yard line of the Trojans.
Elusive and tough. 2 men in motion to the left. They try to follow that with the handoff to Jared Jordan, and he picked up a yard or 2. Jordan had 560 yards, and he's got a nose for the end zone. They like to use him in short yardage situations. He scored 12 touchdowns last year. This year he has 2 touchdowns and 160 yards entering this game as see Coach Cohn. Very, very energetic, enthusiastic coach. Very positive coach. Handoff. And getting some acceleration going inside the 5-yard line.
Well, he's going to be awfully close. He's probably going to be about a yard short, but that time they went with the jet sweep to the right side. And now an interesting call coming up for head coach Matt Cohn. You're looking at 4th and 1, just with the nose of the football inside the 5-yard line.
Ethan Lopresto there, number 27. He really had a good head of steam going, but they were able to combine for the tackle just a yard shy. So now it's 4th down. They're going to go for it, eschewing what would be almost a sure 10-0 lead. Handoff, and they got the 1st down. Jordan, as we said, the go-to guy in short yardage, and he got it.
Wow, what a surge there from an offensive line from Zach Irwin and Joseph Hewitt there as they're able to really get off the football nicely there, create that hole. What a big first down, and now they're going to have 4 cracks at it from the 3-yard line.
They're going to be tough to stop with their power running game. Lopresto, not as much power as he skirted the tackler in the back, but then forced his way over from the 1. And presto, it's a touchdown.
Another big run. That time they were trying to get to the edge, but he saw just a little seam here. Watch him cut it up right here, and he's able to bowl his way through that last yard. But what a tremendous run there. And the Siena Heights offense comes to life here in the second quarter as they jump on top of the Trojans 13-0.
They're really developing some weapons, a wide array of them, both on the ground and in the air. And they showed it on that drive and on the previous drive. Extra point is up and good. 14-0. Siena Heights leading with 8:08 to go in the first half. .808 left to go. The defense has scored a touchdown. The offense has scored a touchdown for Siena Heights. Taylor on their heels a bit now. They need to come back with something as this kickoff goes out of bounds at the 15. So they will assess the walk-off there. As we look at the scoring drive, 87 yards. Remember when we thought that the offside penalty was going to put them back in their own 10, and they ended up taking it all the way down the field. And a good mixture of passes and runs.
Yeah, that was a good sign of things to come. That was a great way to start the drive. They got a free 5 yards, but the offense did the rest. You know, they had some big conversions on third down. They did a great job of mixing up the run and the pass, and then they really executed inside the red zone, something that Taylor has prided itself on over the past several seasons. They've been so good in the red zone, but Siena Heights is able to cash in their first opportunity today.
See the massive throng in the stands on homecoming day, and a lot of fans from Taylor have made the trip as well. Handoff, and that is just a couple of yards for Tavon Middlebrook. I think that the difference that I've seen so far in this game is that Siena Heights has been a much more multifaceted offense than Taylor has been. And Taylor, they've run the ball, but they've gotten themselves into a lot of long yardage situations, and they really haven't had anywhere else they can go.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Greg. You know, they have been looking at, second and 9, even third and 9, third and 10 all night long, so that makes it awfully tough, especially when you love to rely on the run.
And here they face a 2nd and 9. Saltzgraber fakes the handoff, swings it out. Quite a hit there to finish off that play, but they pick up about 6 yards. Let's go back down to the sidelines to Brandon.
And we're back down here on the sidelines. On that last Siena Heights offensive drive, great job there to air it out to Kreider and Carabino. And then once they got down into the red zone, they went to more of a ground and pound approach, and then a nice double move at the end there to punch it in the end zone. And then considering late in that last drive, no second guessing from Coach Cohn to go for it on 4th down there inside their own 10-yard line. Proved to be positive as they put a 2-score lead on the board here early against Taylor.
Yeah, definitely a lot of confidence in what they can do in the red zone. Saltzgaber faked the pitch, kept the ball, and gets out to the 48-yard line. You heard Coach talk before the game that he brings some new elements to the offense that they've got to contend with, and his ability to run the football has been that.
Oh, you're right. He's got a tremendous skill set back there as a quarterback, and he really can hurt you with his legs. We saw that right there. Great read right there. He's able to cut that up, move the chains. Which right now, important drive here for Taylor. They're down 2 scores against the Saints defense that's been so good all season. You got to put something on the board here.
Handoff, and some good moves there by Middlebrook. And he picked up 9 yards on the play before he was finally stopped in the backfield. Merlin on the tackle. Second and short. That's in order for them to thrive, that's what they've got to have, is second and medium or short yardage.
Yeah, they really need to stay on schedule, so they have to get positive chunks of yardage. They cannot afford those penalties or tackles for loss. That time they get 8 big yards on first down.
Or they can't afford those FFs either. That cost them a touchdown. Around the left side and spinning for the first down as Middlebrook, who's been their workhorse of late, for the first time there this deep down the field to the 38-yard line of Siena Heights.
Yeah, another solid run from the freshman from Indianapolis, Middlebrook. He's able to break through a tackle and work his way for the first down. But again, that's something they kind of pride themselves on, just smash mouth football. We're going to try to run it between the tackles. We're going to try to get 3-4 yards at a time. That time we're able to move the chains once again.
Again, they go to Middlebrook, and he attacks the heart of the line. Picked up a couple of yards. Taylor has been effective moving the football, but they've always run into something that short circuits the drive. Let's see if they can avoid that this time.
Yeah, hard run there by Tavon Middlebrook. That time he just hit a wall there as a host of Saint defenders stood him up. But, that's a tough of 2 yards you're going to see, but he had to earn each and every one of them. Brings up a 2nd and 8 here.
That was akin to running headlong into a brick wall, which we don't advise you to try at home. And he made an indentation in the wall of a couple of yards. Pass out, incomplete, underthrown as he was looking once again for the Perrysburg prospect Ty Bezic.
Yeah, that's a tough break. That time if he throws a strike there, that's going to go for some good yardage that time. But that time, that's a pass that Saltzgaber light back.
It is Bezic. They just announce him as Bezic, but we've got the pronunciation guide, and it's a Perrysburg guy. We heard it pronounced that way before. They tried to utilize him again there, but it fell incomplete at his feet. Again, it's 3rd and long. Really hamstringing their offense. Saltzgaber has a wide open receiver, but a great close down tackle by Claiborne denies the first down.
Once again, Trevon Claiborne comes up big. He puts a hit on him. What he does not allow any yards after the catch. What a tackle right there. That's a big play. Going to bring up a 4th down. And, now you wonder what they're going to do. They're going to try maybe a pooch punt here. You're going to go for it in 4th and 4 here.
And you see on that play, the receiver, when he makes the break, the ball should be there. He had to wait for the ball to arrive. And that allowed Claiborne to get over there and deny him the first down. Play action, hit immediately, didn't get a good pass off as a result. And once more, the Siena Heights defense has come through on 4th down.
What a great job by that defensive front there. Once again, they get penetration. Watch them get through on the right side there, forces them to throw it quickly, throw it low. And once again, the Siena Heights defense comes up tough. They turn Taylor over on downs.
Even if he had completed it, there were 2 defenders right there to erase him. And he would not have been able to get the necessary yardage. So now if Siena Heights could duplicate their last drive, they could take a commanding lead into halftime.
Well, this is the time you want to punch them when they're down. You've got them on their heels right now. Now the offense has to do its thing.
And they get up to a good start as circling the left end, Jefferson picks up 11 for a first down.
Another great run by Jefferson. He's able to get to the edge. You know, that's something he can do. He's got that game-breaking speed. That time he's able to get to the corner, moves the chains on first down, something you'll take every time.
First down. Once again, they go to Jefferson, and he has another healthy chunk of yardage on first down. It'll be second down and 4 or 5. Tackle made by Jackson Bronkema. But they continue to really have success both on the air and on the ground.
Well, that's what they need to do. They need to get those big chunky yards of first down. You know, they can set up the pass by the run, something they need to do.
Hand off, breaking into the open, and it's Jefferson. A race to the end zone. He'll be pushed out of bounds, but a big gainer. Bronkema, again, out of frustration, just shoved him out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Wow, just tremendous hole off the left tackle there, and Jefferson does the rest. You know, what a job by his offensive line, but he's off and running. Ball inside the 10-yard line. Saints looking at first and goal from the 9.
It looks like that fumble and that return to the house has dispirited Taylor a little bit. There's a handoff around the left end. Jared Jordan was stopped for a yard, dispirited Taylor, and really pumped up Siena Heights because the Saints have totally dominated the game ever since.
Yeah, it really kind of set the tone. You know, there you see Jared Jordan get a short gain. But again, you know, you have to just keep going on, win the next play. You know, you can't let one play affect the next. But I think you're right, Greg. I think that scoop and score off that fumble really changed the whole complexion of this first half.
It's a good expression for you, the scoop and score. You probably coined that when you picked up the ball and took it for a touchdown back in your collegiate days.
Yeah, I
right?
had to sneak that in there
so
one
let's
time
see the
today,
scoop and score. They go into the end zone. No scoop, but a score there as it is hauled in by Gerald King, and Siena Heights is rolling, leading 20-0.
Wow, tremendous job there, and Gerald King finishes it off as he runs a kind of a post route across the middle there. But look at that throw by Neck right on the dot. And right now the Siena Heights offense is clicking, which you really been waiting for that breakout performance from their offense. It's been on and off at times this year, but they're really looking good against the Taylor defense. Has been awfully solid this season.
Conversion is good, and what was shaping up as a really knockdown, drag-out game is starting to evolve into Saints domination. They lead 21-0 with 58 seconds left in the first half. Siena Heights, their offense is looking about as cohesive and effective as we've ever seen. These last two drives were especially impressive, and they've opened up a 21-0 bulge here, and they're going to whistle that down with no return, saying, wait a minute, it's my one chance to return the ball, and you're going to say I made a fair catch? The scoring drive again was impressive. 5 plays, they went 67 yards, and I don't think they had a bad play in that drive.
No, they really didn't. They did an excellent job. Again, they mixed things up, but they got great protection from that line. They opened up some big holes. The backs are running hard. They're really clicking on all cylinders, something that these fans, Siena Heights, have been waiting for, because you knew it's just a matter of time. The fact that their defense has been awfully good, if they can get that offense clicking, this is going to be a tough team to knock out here down the road.
And as far as Taylor is concerned, their stats bear it out, and we've seen it here on the field. They're not really a big play offense, and it's going to be tough for them to make up 3 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, you're right. You know, they hang their hats on defense. They come into the contest averaging just 15 points per contest offensively, so you know that's an area of concern for them. But, you know, their defense has to be the one that kind of sparks things for their offense. They have to start winning the field position game. They've got to start creating some turnovers to give this Taylor offense an opportunity to come back from a 3-score deficit.
They're going to kick this over again. From the 30-yard line. So this will give Taylor a chance for a little better field position.
Yeah, and the fact that Siena's kicking into a fairly brisk wind.
And their deep man is back at the 20-yard line.
So important special teams play here coming up for the Saints. You know, you have just under a minute remaining. You have to try to at least get some decent field position here.
Last thing the Saints want is to give up a touchdown in the last minute. Fielded but dropped on the 30-yard line as Trey Burdine, I think he was so anxious to start heading upfield that he forgot to catch the ball. And really, on top of everything else, Taylor has shot themselves in the foot on more than one occasion tonight.
Oh, you're right. And those are the mistakes you just can't make against a team like Siena Heights. It's just awfully solid. You don't have that kind of room for error. So, you know, that's the difference of maybe, you know, getting a 10, 15-yard return. Who knows, even breaking one. But the fact that now they're looking at a long field with just 58 seconds left against this stellar Siena Heights defense, you know, that's tough math when you're trying to score here with 58 seconds to go. And you got that much real estate ahead of you.
One of many miscues that has hurt Taylor's cause badly, but a lot of them have been forced. Saltzgaber steps up and fires a completion, and that goes to Preston Scott, big tight end, number 87, and he definitely is a big tight end. 6'2", 250 pounds. It's like John Mackey.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Remember back that far. Kellen Winslow, maybe.
Yeah, he passed the eye test. Does a great job getting out of bounds after a 13-yard pickup.
Say John Mackey's the greatest tight end of all time, so people should know him. And there is Crisp running out of bounds. And only about a gain of a yard there as they completed that screen pass, but he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, great job of closing out there by Siena Heights. You know, Spencer Crisp is a guy they want to get a lot of touches in this contest, especially on the perimeter where he can use his speed.
But a bit of a low snap. Saltzgaber, another pass. Great hands there by Preston Scott. And now, well, I just likened him to John Mackey. There was that famous touchdown where he dragged 5 guys for a score, and he almost did that there.
Wow, tremendous hands there. He had to go upstairs, and you saw a bullet being thrown by Saltzgaber. But more impressive was the yards after the catch there. He was able to take a couple Siena Heights defenders.
We were just saying that they're not a particularly big play offense. They've gone from their 32 to the Siena Heights 30 in just a matter of a couple of plays.
Well, they've taken
Saltzgaber throws a good ball, too, so maybe they can get their passing game going.
Well, like we said, you know, he's a special athlete back there, quarterback. You know, he's got a great skill set. You know, he can beat you with his arm or his legs. You know, but what I think they're doing right now, they're taking advantage of Siena Heights. I thought they sort of took their foot off the accelerator on defense. Almost wasn't quite a prevent, but they kind of backed things off a little bit. And right now, you know, give Saltzgaber credit. He's found a couple seams in that defense, and he's quickly moved the ball inside of Saints territory, and there's still 30 seconds remaining.
You don't see too many tight ends make the kind of catch that Scott made on that last one. And then he carried half the defense, another 5 yards. And he spotted on the 33 as you see Salt Scaber. He's a 6 foot, 200-pound junior quarterback. So he had to wait in the wings for a couple of years where their 4-year starter was still around, but very happy to turn over the controls to him here. He rolls right. Again, slings it downfield and a drop. And taking a hit for his trouble. That's Trey Burdine again. That's 2 balls he's dropped now. The kickoff and now this one.
Yeah, and again, those are those mistakes that sometimes will come back and bite you. I mean, that time, instead of getting 12 yards and a first down, getting the ball nearly in field goal range, now they're looking at a 2nd 10 from the 33, and time ticking off that clock as we're down to 20-plus seconds.
I am sure that in their locker room at halftime, their longtime coach, Ron Korfmeyer, was the all-time winningest coach there. He's going to say, we're beating ourselves. It's simple as that. 21-0 the score. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Second down, 10 pass floats incomplete, and it's almost a good thing because there was really nothing that could happen good for Taylor on that play. But to elaborate on what we're talking about as we see this play here, clearly there have been probably a half dozen or even as many as 9 or 10 plays where they really hurt themselves with mistakes, be it penalties or drop balls or fumbles returned for touchdowns or whatever else.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, they have to clean things up. You know, they're all correctable mistakes. You know, some of those penalties are just some motion procedure penalties that, you know, there you saw the drop earlier.
Rolling right, the pass, and he stuck it in there, and Burdine this time made the catch. That was a perfectly thrown ball. Actually, that's Evan Guckenberger, number 9, who made that catch, not number 8. But he put that about the only place it could go to be caught.
Oh, exactly right, and great catch by Evan Guckenberger. Again, you know, those are plays those guys can make, but you have to be consistent. You can't take plays off, especially against the Siena Heights team that's so good. And now they've got the ball just outside the red zone, but they're also looking at the time, just 15 seconds remaining.
This is just about the situation. 4th and 15 from the 32, and they scored. Concordia did last week to beat Siena Heights. Saltzgaber didn't see anything downfield, tucks it and runs for about 6 and makes sure he gets out of bounds. 7 seconds left.
Well, he does the right thing. He gets out of bounds, able to get a few yards. And right now with 7 ticks left, you're probably going to have time for 2 plays. But right now they want to try to get the end zone on play number 1 here, as they'll take the ball from about the 15-yard line.
Jacob Letterman making sure he didn't get any further on that play. They don't want to give up a late touchdown here. Shades of last week to get Taylor back in the game. Saltzgaber again was under great pressure as Nico Moroso was all over him.
We're going to have a late hit on the quarterback, which is going to take it half the distance. With the time, though, there really is going to be one more play. So do you line up and go for the field goal, or do you try to roll the dice and go for the end zone?
I don't think the field goal helps you too much based on the way this game has been going and the type of offense that Taylor has. I think they probably need to go for the touchdown.
Right now, I just, thinking they need to get some kind of momentum here after a really disastrous first half. They do have a very solid kicker who's well within his striking distance, but right now with the ball inside the 10-yard line.
If it was 14-0 instead of 21, I'd probably say kick the field goal. It was a late hit. That's the kind of hit that most of the years that you and I have watched football wouldn't have been called. But
and for Siena Heights, this is almost a do-over from last Saturday, where they were really one play away from securing a big win against Concordia. Now this is a different setting. We're talking first half, but this is a big play here. You want to get off the field. You want to keep that goose egg up there on the defensive side of the scoreboard.
Don't want to give the visitors any momentum coming in here. Now, it was interesting. Last week, we talked about the big sack that stopped the drive after Concordia had gotten to the 1. It looked like it was going to pave the way for a Siena Heights win. On the last drive, they made 2 big sacks defensively, but it allowed them to have more field so that their receivers had more room to work instead of being constrained by the end zone. Now here, the ball's in the red zone, so it's a lot tougher to shake loose if you're a receiver. That might play to their favor this time.
Yeah, you're right. You know, normally you get a couple of sacks, you're going to be thrilled, but that almost played against them. The fact that no longer could you put 11 guys up there in the box, kind of spread things out.
So while we're waiting, let's take a look here at the importance of this game. How good would that look if Siena Heights was 1-0 and Concordia was 0-1? But it goes to show you now, as we said at the top of this broadcast, Siena Heights and Taylor can ill afford a loss in this game. And it's looking very good for Siena Heights so far, but let's see if their defense, which has come up big time and time again in the first half, if they can do it again. Or if Taylor's offense, which has fallen short several times, can rewrite the script. And they call timeout. Actually, it looks like the timeout was called by Siena Heights.
Yeah, I like that timeout by head coach Matt Cohn there. He wanted to see what formation that Taylor came out in. He had a timeout to burn. No sense taking it with you in your hip pocket. It doesn't carry over the second half. So a nice timeout, recognize the formation, and now getting his guys prepared for what most likely will be the last play of the first half, barring a penalty.
Yeah, now from the offensive standpoint, you charted a play. Now you've tipped your hand a little bit. Do you make an alteration to it so that they can't be just prepared for what you were going to throw at them? Meanwhile, the kicker is out there taking a rep or two. Maybe they have some hope of maybe they throw the ball. If it's incomplete, they have a second left on the clock to go for a field goal.
Yeah,
is it possible that they'll decide to go for the field goal?
Yeah, I think what they're really hoping for is to get 6 here and tack on a 7th.
Yeah, maybe he's practicing for an extra point.
I think that's the mind thought. But again, awfully big play for both teams right here.
That's positive thinking. I'm practicing for the extra point. It is first down, so if they were to have any time left, they could take another play or they could kick the field goal. Let's see what happens here. Long count. Saltzgaber dumps it off. Complete inside the 5, but not enough room. And they get right on top of the receiver, Spencer Crisp, and 5 guys converge to keep him out.
Wow, what a way to finish the first half. Cole Merlin wraps up. He's going nowhere in a hurry. And what a job once again by the Saints defense as they take a commanding 21-0 lead here into the break.
Yeah, Merlin made the first hit, and then the whole team is there to make sure he's not going to slip the tackle and get into the end zone. Great team defense again by Siena Heights, and that's the third time that they really came up with a big play and a 4th down or a deep yardage situation. Let's go down to Brandon with Coach Cohn.
We're here with Coach Cohn. Coach, big homecoming game here, great atmosphere, and to have your defense come out and start with a strip and to come away with a touchdown at the end of the very first drive, how important was that?
Well, at this point, it's kind of what's expected out of our defense. They've been playing outstanding all year. Huge play, obviously, to start the game, and huge play to finish the first half right there with the big goal line stand. So hopefully we can keep that going, momentum going in the second half.
with the success the defense had in the first half, the offense didn't see the field till late in the first quarter, but once they got on the field, they were having success as well. How important was that the offense was functioning on all cylinders?
Well, I think we've got a good game plan this week offensively. I think our kids really understand our game plan and how we wanted to go about attacking. It made some good adjustments, and we're able to get some good productive plays there in the first couple drives.
What adjustments, if any, can you make for the rest of this ball game?
Well, I think, one thing we got to be aware of as coaches is we got to make sure that they stop what we're doing before we change anything we're doing. So we'll go take a look, talk, and see what we can come out with in the second half.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Those are words of wisdom. Make them stop what you're doing before changing what you're doing. To say he just counts on his defense to make big plays like that. What a luxury that is for a head coach. Beautiful campus, homecoming here at Siena Heights, and they lead 21-0 at halftime. Well, Presto, not as much power as he skirted the.
BCSN, available exclusively on Buckeye Broadband, is presented by Siena Heights University. BCSN, available exclusively on Buckeye Broadband, is presented by Siena Heights University, celebrating 100 years. And by Gallon, Tachus, and Boisenall.
Stadium, and one of the great things that we are able to do when we come to cover the area college teams is talk about the BCSN athletes who have continued their careers, and we've got one from Whitmer, Chris Redway, who is a freshman here at Siena Heights, and certainly Whitmer's a great program to prepare you for the collegiate ranks. How has it been, the transition here, the first season at Siena Heights?
It was definitely a different pace of the game, but at Whitmer they definitely prepared us well to be physical enough to come up at the college level and play this game at a decent level.
What made you decide to attend Siena Heights?
Just the coaching staff. They're amazing up here. They're so fun to be around, and then they're also so smart and knowledgeable about the game of football that it's just a blast to be up here.
So the team's been doing very well. You had a really tough loss last week, and Coach was saying how resilient everybody was. That by kind of a couple days to be down a little bit, but by Tuesday it's like, okay, you put it in the past and you're ready to go forward, which is a great winner's mentality. Is that the way you've seen the team and your teammates?
Yeah, it's been amazing how fast we came back from that loss and how upbeat we were Tuesday and ready to practice.
So the campus here outside of the football, how have you found that so far?
It's beautiful up here. Adrian, Michigan, it's a beautiful town. The campus, they're building new stuff all over the place, new sculptures I see all the time. So it's just amazing up here.
Still have a chance to get back home, see the alma mater every now and then?
Yeah, I was actually just at the game last night. Didn't turn out too well for my boys, but I know they'll bounce back. They're really resilient and tough, just like we are up here.
Great. So what do you expect this here game today? You lost last week of that tough game, and Taylor had a tough loss too. Coach says there's always great games when you play them. I'm sure you're anticipating quite a game here today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. We're expecting it to be very physical up front, and we're going to come out and try to punch them in the mouth fast.
Yeah. Based on what you've seen of the school so far, and you probably talked to some of your old teammates, and there's some guys that maybe are still playing and they're thinking about what to do if they had maybe an opportunity to consider Siena Heights, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them at least give it a good look, make it one of your options, and then go with what your heart really desires.
That's what you did, and it's worked out pretty well.
It has worked out really well.
All right, well, wish you continued success, and great game here today, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Chris Redway, former Whitmer Panther and now proud Siena Heights Saint, and we'll be right back. Taking a look at the first half highlights, and I think the summary is very simple in that Taylor beat themselves on plays like that throughout the entire first half, and Siena Heights really made them pay for it.
You're exactly right. They just had too many drops. There you saw a great strip there by Trevon Claiborne, and there you see Gabe Callery take it to the house. But those have really been the difference that set the tone for that first half.
Indeed it did, because Taylor was looking good on that opening drive. But after that, their success was a lot more difficult to attain. Plus, with the penalties they were taking, they were constantly in long yardage situations that were not conducive to their kind of offense.
You're exactly right. And there you just saw a fourth down sack. But here you saw at the end of the half, they started maybe to go upstairs a little bit. They found a few seams.
But meanwhile, on offense, it was Siena Heights. Both their passing game and their running game were working on all cylinders.
They really were. They were clicking. They did a great job mixing things up. There you see a strike connect to King, and that was a big dagger there for Taylor as that put the Saints up 3 scores.
For a long time, they were in a zone where they could almost do no wrong. The total yardage is actually surprisingly close given what we saw in that first half and the time of possession for Taylor, but I guess it shows that time of possession cannot mean very much
Well, a lot of that had to do with the fact they had that scoop and score. They forced that fumble on Taylor's first drive, and it was less than 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter before the Saints offense actually stepped foot on the field. But they had a 7-0 lead at the time.
Yeah, they accomplished an awful lot in barely over a quarter of football there in that first half. 21-0, Siena Heights leading Taylor after one half of play here at O'Loughlin Stadium. Homecoming Saturday, always a big day at Siena Heights here at O'Loughlin Stadium, and with the longtime athletic director, recently retired, Fred Taylor. But you're not really retired, you're working today, and I'm sure you're glad to still be around the goings-on campus.
Yes, I am. It's funny, I retired after 43 years in July as AD, but I'm still helping out through the, first of the year to January, and you always got to do something, right? And today is one of those days to be around the college campus.
Yeah, you always got to do something, and what better thing to do than this, right?
Oh, yeah, you're not kidding.
Homecoming at Siena Heights, just it's a very festive day, that's obvious. You talk about some of the things that happen on campus on homecoming that make it such a special day.
Well, the years have changed at Siena. We did not have football for my first 30 years here. So soccer and other things. Now football has made homecoming a lot bigger because football is a reason to celebrate. We have dedications, we have alumni awards, you name it, we have it. And it's just great to see all our alums out in the out there tailgating and meeting our students and just seeing each other again. That's what homecoming is about. And football has what we found is a way for us to celebrate, and that's worked out well.
Oh, especially this year, too, with the centennial and everything,
Yes,
even
that's
adds to
right.
that.
Yeah, and 100 years is really a special thing for the Adrian Dominicans. I was hired by an Adrian Dominican 43 years ago. The sisters and their mission have meant everything to all of us.
You mentioned about the football program. It seems like it's been around for a long time now. We were here for the very first game, and they were good then, but they've come a long way since then. Talk about just the trajectory of the football team since that that first year.
Well, we've been competitive right away, and that's thanks to Coach Lyle and now Coach Cone. And we've been very competitive, and I think we're 4-1, 5-1 right now. And really, if it wouldn't be for one fluke play, we'd be still undefeated. I was there last week when up at Ann Arbor, and it was just a tough deal to deal with. But the kids are very competitive and have been pretty successful. And we just want to get over the hump and get to the national tournament. That's really what it's about, and that's our goal for the football program now.
Well, it's a pleasure for us to talk to our local athletes. There seems to be a pretty good pipeline between Toledo and Siena Heights. And maybe just talk a little bit about prospective athletes that might be watching us here, thinking about what they might do for the future that would make Siena Heights a really good program to consider.
It's funny, I listen always, and I don't want to pump one of your competitors, but every Friday night I'm always listening to 106.5. I'm a football nut, in Lenawee County, and then down at Lucas County, Toledo, and getting all the scores. And we have been getting the traditions down in the Toledo area, Northwest Ohio, are amazing. And we're getting more and more into those schools that they can come not far away, play a great brand of football, and get a great education. And that's really what it's about. I've been a small college product my whole life. I went up to Northwood, finished at Adrian College, and there's something special about the smaller schools. And if you love to play, there's we have 640 student athletes on our campus, 23 sports. So we're here and we'd love to have them.
And just the small campus environment, it makes it great. You don't feel like you're lost, and you have a lot of personal attention and a lot of success in athletics. Great to see you again here. I'm sure we'll continue to see you, maybe even though it's not in your full-time capacity.
I'll be around.
Fred Taylor, the longtime AD here at Siena Heights, and we'll be right back.
BCSN, available exclusively on Buckeye Broadband, is presented by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Yark Automotive, just what you're looking for.
Justin Carabino with 2 receptions for 19 yards. Cole Merlin leads the Saints defense with 11 tackles in the first half. Nick Stallworth has 7. Marquise Goodman has 4. Jacob Letterman has 4. And Trevon Claiborne has 5. Story summary. Gabe Calorie returned a fumble, 71 yards.
back ready for the second half. That interview with longtime AD and great coach Fred Smith. This year in his honor, he was the lone Hall of Fame inductee, and he was honored with the Alumni Award winners at halftime. Also, they announced that Gabe Callery's return for the touchdown, the fumble, the longest fumble recovery return in the history of the Saints program. Long run back here, and that is what we're used to seeing from Justin Carabino as he wound a path upfield and looked for a moment like he might break through an opening and make a really long return. As we take a look at the first half leaders, and as we said, the yardage was really reasonably close until you realize that almost the entire first half was Taylor with the ball. But after that, Saints really took over.
Yeah, they really did. Now they get the football to start things out in the third quarter. So important for Siena Heights once again to kind of throw that first punch and really keep this separation between them and the Trojans.
Hand off Jefferson. He got around the end easily, pushed out of bounds, but there's a flag behind the play. See, but this will probably come back. We take a look at the first half possessions, and that interception was basically thrown right into the arms of the defender, but they sure made up for it and looked extremely effective on those next two drives.
Yeah, they only had 3 possessions, but they really maximized them. Even on that interception, they were moving the football. They were down in Taylor territory, but the lone pick of the afternoon. There we see there was a reason for that hold on the right side, as that play is going to come back. You know, and actually I thought first half Siena did a fairly decent job of not really hurting themselves with the penalties.
Might have been one of the reasons he was able to sweep that in so cleanly. Trips left on a first down and 17, the penalty from the point of infraction, and they don't get much of it back on that one as they go to Jefferson for maybe just a yard. Tyler Watson leading the charge along with Mark Baker for the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by Watson and Baker there, really closing things off there, and you're going to give up a 2-yard gain when you're looking at first and 20. As the Saints were. So again, a big opportunity for the Trojan defense to try to get a 3-and-out here in this initial drive of the second half.
Play action, pass out wide. It is caught by King, but doesn't really have much opportunity to move upfield. And he was stopped on the play.
Well, once again, well defended. That's why you have to know the down and distance. That time just want to keep guys in front of you, make it a 3rd and long where it's going to be a passing down. Right now the Saints looking at 3rd and 12. One of the few times this afternoon they've been in this situation.
Cade Segura made that stop. We would like to run off some clock to make it even harder for the Taylor offense to come back, but they bring everybody. They did not respect the play action that time. And really, in that kind of a running situation, you probably aren't going to worry too much about a play action.
Well, that's the same type of situation that hurt them last week against Concordia. They were only 2 for 12 in 3rd downs last week, gave up 3 sacks. They turned the football over, and that's something you just can't do. But great stop there by that Trojan defense, forcing the first 3-and-out of the afternoon.
They needed to step up big, and they needed to not let Siena Heights take too much time off the clock, and they succeeded on both counts. That ball stayed in. I thought it was going to bound out around midfield. Instead, it rolls all the way to the 33, and that's a pretty substantial break for Siena Heights. I guess you'd really call that home field advantage.
Well, you just come to expect that out of Caleb Meester anymore. There he's kicking into a stiff wind, and once they do, he gets a 42-yard kick, no return.
13
once
of them
again,
on the roll.
what a weapon to have there to change that field position.
Went from a 29-yard kick to a 42-yard kick, and there's a look at basically how you lose a football game. They gave up a fumble, which, by the way, was returned for a touchdown. Twice they were stopped on 4th down in short situations, and once they were forced to punt. once they ran out of time. That was their best drive, as you can see there, a 63-yard march. Second man, no, they got it to the first man, Burdine, who's trying to make up for a couple of drops in the first half, and he picked up 5 yards around left end.
A nice job by Burdine, and he'll take that on first down. But, going back to that graphic, Greg, just hard to believe that you can dominate the time possession, only have to punt the football one time, and you go into the locker room at halftime down 21-0. So sometimes the numbers really don't tell the story. But this Saints defense, I'm telling you what, we've been talking about all year long. These guys are awfully good.
Most of that possession time came on their very first drive, and the Saints didn't get the ball till about 3.5 minutes in the quarter. Crisp got knocked back where he tried to go body surfing in that line. They bumped him back about 4 yards. They knocked him all the way back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, what a play again up front there by the Saints. And again, they're getting that penetration up front. They forced the reroute there and just no place to go. But again, that's where these guys have been hanging their hats. Another tackle for loss, which is always huge. And if you can throw Taylor off schedule, that makes it awfully tough on that offense that came in only averaging 15 points a game.
3rd and long again. That's been the situation all game long for Taylor. Another rush. Saltzgaber having to run for his life again. Tipped and almost intercepted by the defender downfield, Griff Sobel, but great pressure. Saltzgaber knew that he couldn't make it running, so he just tried basically a hopeless pass.
Great job. Again, tremendous coverage, but look at the pursuit here. Saltzgaber had to turn his body around, running for his life there to the outside. And fortunate that ball does not end up being tipped and intercepted. But a good stop there for the Saints as the Trojans will have to turn it over via the punt.
Mark Stroh punts it and trying to tightrope to stay in bounds, but not quite able to do it. And this Marquise, that's number 10 actually. That is Callery, who made that long return for the touchdown off the fumble, which again, as we say, is the all-time Siena Heights record for that category. So his name is engraved in the record book as of today.
Tremendous punt right there by Mark Stroh. That goes for 44 yards, and again, no return.
He had the wind at his back, but made use of it and angled the punt so it couldn't really be caught and returned. And you saw that Callery was upset that he couldn't stay in bounds because he had a little bit of green in front of him.
Yeah, he did what he could. You want to catch the football so it doesn't take that bounce that we saw Meester get just a little bit ago.
Hand off, breaking the tackle at the line of scrimmage. And out to the 30-yard line. Jefferson is really becoming the workhorse here. Baker with the tackle.
Yeah, Caleb Jefferson just doing a tremendous job. And again, this is what the Saints offense needs to do. They need to get those big chunks of yardage on first down. There they get 8 big yards there. And this is a way to not only kill some time off the clock, but move the football, keep that Taylor offense off the field, that is desperately trying to work their way back in this ballgame.
Single setback, he gets the ball. And again, it's Jefferson. And he's out to the 36-yard line. They're opening up some really good holes for him. He's got some good escorts around in. And he's gone over 100 yards now on the day, 104 yards in 12 attempts. Last year, Jefferson actually averaged over 12 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's been awfully good, and I love what head coach Matt Cohn said going off field at halftime. We're not going to stop what we're doing before they stop what we're doing. So I love the fact they're staying with their game plan. They're not really out-coaching themselves right now.
Play action over the top, caught. Wide open. And that one is gathered in by Xavier Stollard. And they're to the 42-yard line, and they are just dissecting this defense right now.
There you see Stollard just releases there, and he ends up being wide open again. They're doing a great job. Those runs by Jefferson setting up the pass there. And right now, the Siena Heights offense continues to click, very similar to what we saw in the opening half.
Tackle by Tyler Watson. They beat that zone coverage easily. And this time, for a rare occasion, the running play doesn't really go anywhere, and Jefferson loses a yard. And in this situation, the clock keeps running, and even that doesn't hurt you that much.
Yeah, that's one of the few times this afternoon where Taylor's had a tackle for loss against the Saints. But you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Greg. Right now, the Saints have an impressive drive. You might have a few setbacks there. You just got to keep getting positive yardage on the next play. Win the next play and go from there. Right now, looking at 2nd and 11.
This time they faked to Jefferson. The pressure came in, but he beat it. And Carabino again with the catch. Cade Segura threw him down. If he had been able to just shuck that tackle off, he would have been going for a long time, but a sure tackle there. Seguro means sure in Spanish, and that's basically what he did there. He wrapped him up.
Yeah, big tackle by Segura there, the freshman. If he doesn't make that play, that thing's going to go a long way, but a great job of wrapping up. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down, I believe, here.
3rd down and short yardage. They haven't updated the spot here, and the officials are conferring about something.
Yeah, right now the spot's still 2nd and 11, where the football's line's been standing.
No. Well, we mentioned that he was under pressure and he was able to beat it with that quick release. But the defender kept coming, and that's similar to the call we saw against Siena Heights in the first half.
Yeah, and again, those are those penalties that you really just can ill afford to give up. That's going to take the ball all the way down into the red zone, as the Saints will have a 1st down from the Trojan 19-yard line.
And any points at all on this drive could just be about the point of no return as far as this football game is concerned. We're nearing the midway mark of the 3rd quarter already, and they're trying to make it a 4-score game.
Yeah, the fact that you're looking at a Siena Heights defense giving up just 8 points a contest, so certainly they have to hold here, somehow get the football back.
Taylor only scoring 15 a game. Jefferson hurdles over a couple of tacklers, still on his feet all the way to the 2-yard line. Boy, would that ever have been a highlight reel play, especially if he'd gotten into the end zone there.
Wow, are you kidding me? Look at Caleb Jefferson, tremendous run, takes the handoff from Necht, and there he's able to juke his way to the outside, and there he hurdles a guy and somehow stays on his feet, gets another 6-7 yards after hurling. But great run, takes the ball down to just inside the 3-yard line here. Saints really looking to break this one open.
They're definitely on the verge of it. They're not going to get over on that play. Jefferson again, that's what we said a moment ago. You have a setback once in a while, you just come back with a couple of well-executed plays and you just keep right on going, and here they're on the brink of maybe putting this game out of reach.
Well, that's what I liked about their offense today. They really have stayed with the game plan. They haven't let a few chinks in their armor offset what they're trying to do. So right now they still want to try to pound it down their throats and move the football, get it in the end zone. Whether it takes 3 or 4 plays from here, it doesn't really matter. They just want to get some more points on the board.
Jared Jordan, their short yardage man, in the backfield along with Presto. He goes driving hard, and the ball was stolen. But they whistle it down, and they're going to say the play was dead, much to the chagrin, as you can see, of the Taylor sideline.
And we're going to see some unsportsmanlike penalties as we had a Taylor player leave the sideline, the box area. But here you're going to see that they're going to rule it forward progress here. Looks about the 1-yard line, but there you saw the strip from, I think, number 30 there for Taylor is able to pull it out. That was Jackson Bronkema, the senior.
Try to get an idea. They might have an argument there as Looked like he was still maybe moving forward a little bit. The half the distance won't hurt him too much, but another bad break here for Taylor. It was very close, could have gone either way.
Yeah, what the penalty does, it now makes it a first down here, and again, 4 cracks at it. Siena Heights in no hurry, but they do have to score. That's a huge break. If that forward progress is not called, that could be one of those game-changing plays.
Or at least give him a chance to change it. Yeah, it won't hurt him distance-wise. They called a 15-yard penalty. It's about a 15-inch penalty, but making it first down, certainly it's going to be hard to keep him out in 4 cracks from that very small distance, and they do not, as Jared Jordan, as he is wont to do, barges in for a score. And it is 27-0 for the Saints, and you couldn't write a better script for them for a homecoming Saturday.
Oh, you really couldn't. And once again, the offense really starting to assert itself here. We saw signs of that in the first half, but then they pick up right here where they left off, and there you see Jared Jordan finish it off there from 1 yard out. And, boy, what an impressive showing thus far for the Saints, up 27-0 on a very good Taylor University football team.
And they're 4 for 4 on conversions. With 6:11 to go in the third, it's 28-0, Siena Heights. Kickoff. Fielded at the 15. And a big hit there as the special teams coverage continues to be very, very good for Siena Heights. Nari Brown got on and laid on that hit. Another very efficient, lengthy drive. 9 plays, 79 yards. Jordan, sometimes it hurts his rushing average because he gets all those 1-yard touchdown runs, but hey, those are really important.
Yeah, he's not complain about that, but that last 1-yard plunge there, he had to go through about 5 or 6 Taylor Trojans there, but he was able to smell that end zone, punch it in, and again, impressive drive, taking some time off the clock, but just very efficient, as you alluded to, Greg.
Yeah, judging by that broad smile on his face, he wasn't worried about his rushing average. Saltzgaber with about a 5-yard gain. But now they're really going to just about have to throw their game plan out the window if they have any aspirations of coming back in the game.
And again, credit all that to that Saints defense. We talked about what a special athlete Zach Saltzgaber, the Taylor quarterback, is. He had 41 yards on the ground the first half, 10 for 16 for 89 yards through the air the first half.
Another bad snap, and there have been a lot of those types of mistakes. Muffed exchanges, low snaps. It's about everything you can do. And Siena Heights has played great, and I think they'd be winning this game anyway, but certainly Taylor has really done a lot to dig their own grave here this afternoon as well.
Well, you're right, and some of those great plays that Siena's made, I think, has snowballed against Taylor. They're making some uncharacteristic mistakes right there. We just saw another one right there, and you just cannot do that at this level and expect to have any kind of success.
They've been looking at long yardage situations all game long. There's a pass complete to Trey Burdine, but he is stopped well short of the first down, and yet another punting situation. And it just looks like they don't have the ability to go downfield. So even though they have a long yardage situation, they're really making a pass where they still need several yards after the catch to get the first down.
Yeah.
And the way this defense swarms, that's hard to do.
It really is. That's how they went with sort of a bubble screen there. But again, just so disciplined defense we've seen from the Saints all season. And, we've not really seen Taylor try to go vertical, really try to stretch the football field.
And you have to be able to do that. Even if you're not successful, you have to at least be able to show that you can be successful. Otherwise, they're just going to compress their defense and come after you. And I think that's a lot of what we've seen here with Siena Heights' defensive unit. Let's go back down to Brandon on the sidelines.
Yeah, right now we have Siena Heights back on defense out on the field right now. But before they went back out for this defensive drive, I got a chance to walk by the defensive huddle on the bench, and they're excited to get back out there. They're nonstop. They want to get out there. They want to hit people. And it just shows how varying of a defensive mindset we have today, where Siena Heights is ready to get back out there. They're not tired. Where we've seen the Taylor defense, they seem sort of discombobulated out there. And it's really showed here as we look at the scoreboard and the differential we have thus far in this game.
Is that ever right? 1 yard gain, and when your defense comes off the field, and they just you talk about, you got to keep your defense off the field, and they're sitting there saying we want to get back on the field. That certainly tells a lot about how the things have been going.
Yeah, you have to love the mindset, all the way around. You can see, that's just that's their focus, that's their their moxie, so to speak. They just really pride themselves on that, and the fact that this is week 6. They've only given up more than one touchdown in the game one time, and we're in week 6. I mean, that speaks volumes of how powerful that defense has been. In a 60-minute ball game, when you're just giving up one touchdown or less, you're really getting things done.
And the whistle there, just prior to the snap. And Siena Heights has called a timeout. With 3:23 left to go, and we'll be right back. Coming off the timeout, pass, and that is caught once again. As Xavier Stallard, the tight end, is called upon, makes the catch. Speaking of tight ends, I was wondering why they didn't go to their tight end Preston Scott for Taylor a few more times. He was about the most impressive player they had in that whole first half, but he only got the ball a couple times.
I tell you what, he was a load to bring down. Once he got the football in his hands, we saw that one tremendous catch he had where Saltz, threw a dart to him from 20 yards away. He somehow elevated, caught the football, came down, carried several Siena Heights ball players with him.
But we haven't seen him since. Hand off, and there's a tackle stopping Jordan before he can get going. We'll take a look here, as with the score being what it is. We talked to Chris Redway from Whitmer. Maybe he'll get into the game for some reps in the fourth quarter. He's had some action earlier this year, and looking forward to a lot more before he's through. There's Jordan heading off to the sideline, one of the few times they've been stopped, but even getting stopped isn't that bad news when you got a punter like Caleb Meester. Under some pressure that time, and once again, I don't know if he's mastered how to get a positive roll, but that's really going to make the stats look good. 43-yard punt, no return.
Unbelievable. Into that brisk win, he gets 43 yards, no return. Once again, he gets that friendly home field bounce, as you mentioned, Greg. But again, that's so huge. You know, you got a defense that's so good, but then you couple that with the fact you've got great special teams play, and they're able to really, you know, dictate the field position all day with that special teams play. And once again, Taylor looking at a long field, starting out from their own 22-yard line.
It has just not been their day. And Stahlgraber got stopped, or Saltzgraber got stopped right at the line by Vincent Walker. There was a blocker between Saltzgraber and Walker, and he still was able to stop him. Look at that.
Yeah, again, just the cavalry is coming. You got penetration there. Just no chance for Zach Saltzgraber to do much with the football. You know, right away he had to tuck away and run, but again, just no place to go. Another tackle for loss for the Siena Heights defense.
One of the most impressive things about Siena Heights defense has been their pursuit. And there's a great pass breakup by Trenton Morrow. We talked about him in the open. He hasn't been as much of a factor today because they haven't really thrown the ball much into his territory, but he has had 4 interceptions, 2 big sacks, and there's a great pass breakup.
Yeah, you have to love Trenton Morrow out there, and you can see why he has 4 interceptions on the season. You know, his footwork is so good. He got such a great read jump on that. Was able to take away what looked like was going to be a sure gain there for the Trojans. Was able to knock it away, force the 3rd and long here.
That's 4 tackles for loss, too. Saltzgraber again in 3rd and long, which has been what he's been facing all afternoon. And he gets dropped. And it is Nico Moroso on the stop. And it looks like all the air has gone out of the Taylor balloon, quite honestly.
And Siena Heights is playing like the game's on the line every play. That's what you have to love. You know, that time Siena Heights dropped 7 guys in the coverage, yet you see Nico Moroso and company, just 4 guys rushing there. They're able to get another sack.
Yeah, they got everybody up like they're putting pressure on the punter. Another pretty good punt there. Out of bounds, but they're going to have field position at midfield. I think that what we've seen here, based on Brandon's last report down there on the sideline, goes a long way. You see the coaching going on the sideline. There's Mark Stroh, they're a good punter, but sometimes the big comebacks come when maybe you get a little complacent when you're having a big lead. But the way he reported that defense was still down there enthused and wanted to get out and hit guys and wanted to keep playing, that's the way you kind of keep a leg up when you've got a big lead.
Yeah, you're right. And that defense has one thing in mind. That's a shutout. You know, they have 1 shutout in the season. They had another game where they gave up just a safety. So the defense really looking to record, you know, its 3rd shutout of the season, so to speak.
27 seconds left. A great fake. Fooled everyone. And the pass over for Carabino for another first down. We've reached the point where almost everything Siena Heights is doing on offense is working now, save for the odd running play that they stop at the line of scrimmage. But usually when they put the ball in the air, they found a wide open receiver and they're getting around the ends and opening up holes. Is everything going well?
Yeah, they've just really been executing. You know, they've not really shot themselves in the foot like Taylor has. But again, you know, they're throwing out all the stops, doing a great job mixing things up. That time you saw Carabino come off that backside, ends up getting another first down as we end the 3rd quarter here at Siena Heights.
28-0. Siena Heights rolling here on homecoming day.
BCSN, available exclusively on Buckeye Broadband, is presented by Burger King.
Fourth quarter, 28-0, Siena Heights. And they're just having a good time, both sides of the football and on special teams today. Jefferson manages to get wide again. Jackson Bronkema, he's been involved in a lot of the defensive plays. He at least got enough of him to keep him from turning it into a big gainer, but got
Pushed out by number 34, Billy Sheridan.
about 3 yards on the play.
Second down and 9.
Yeah, he certainly has put his nose in there more times than not tonight. But, they just really have been outmanned on the line there. The holes have been opening up all afternoon for the Saints.
Oh, that was a play that would have opened up, but
Next pass intended for
that swing pass was just beyond Jefferson. If you hadn't let him just a touch too far, he would have at least had double-figure yardage gain on that play.
Yeah, when you let him catch the football with that much space, he's already on the move. He can be awfully lethal, but that time you saw the pass just a little bit out in front. He ends up being an incomplete. Now the Saints are looking at 3rd and 9, just outside 25-yard line.
Wouldn't have been inconceivable. He could have taken that all the way. He'd have caught it in stride. Neck throwing downfield. He's got a man open in the back of the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. King looked like he might have been too deep, and they come right back after a play that might have gone for a touchdown. A rare time where they didn't execute, and they hit for the big one.
Well, watch right here. I'm not sure how Jared King gets his foot down, but what a tremendous pitch and catch. See if that left foot comes down or not. Well, that's a bang-bang play, but again, big-time delivery on 3rd down. That was something that hurt them last week. They were just 2 for 12 on 3rd down conversions. They come up big right there as it necked hits King for a backbreaker.
If you look at Segura, the defender, he wasn't even really trying to break the pass up. I think he thought it was going to be out of the end zone. 35-0, the Saints having almost a perfect afternoon. Wind blew the football off the tee. That's about all that's gone wrong for Siena Heights all game, and now it blows it off again. The interesting thing, you look at this, though, it's 35-0. But if you just take away a few of those more egregious mistakes that Taylor made, it'd probably be a pretty close game.
Yeah, don't be fooled. This Taylor team is going to win a lot of games. They've already got a win over Division I Butler University. But again, I think you're right, Greg. Some of those things have really turned this football game around. It's got to the point where
they just can't catch the ball today. That's their problem. On top of everything else, and as a result, no return to speak of. And a great coverage there. As you see, they're just having a good time throwing hits. And the scoring drive, again, they're all impressive. 5 plays, 45 yards, 27-yard touchdown catch. They're getting a huge average of yards gained per play on these scoring drives.
And here you see the touchdown pass. So the question is, does King get 1 foot in? And there you see left foot out of bounds, catches it. Boy, that's awfully close.
Depends on whether his toe is on the white or if it's on the green. It was down. His foot was down when he got the ball, but was part of his foot out of bounds. Fake, rolling left, Saltzgaber. Pass, caught. He actually does throw the football pretty well, at least medium yardage. That one caught by Mitchell Canada as he was hit by Ron Claiborne. Last year they had a play in the key game at the end of the year with Concordia where they scored an apparent touchdown on the exact same kind of play, and they said it was out. So maybe made up for it a little bit there, although this was in a game where the outcome is already more or less decided. Rolling out right, Saltzgaber throws it into the Siena Heights bench area. Number 56, the defensive lineman, Jermaine Shumpert, saying, I got to get my hands up to make that catch.
Going back to that last touchdown, Greg, I'm sure Taylor coach Ron Korfbacher, that's not going to be any concern of his. You know, that touchdown had nothing to do with the outcome of today's game. You know, this game has really been dominated from Siena Heights from that opening drive on, and certainly he knows that, recognizes his team just did not perform up to their expectations here this afternoon.
They're just getting hit all over this field, and the fumble was forced and recovered by Siena Heights. Coming out with the ball, Cole Merlin, and things have just reached that point, as I said before, of no return. The boulder's rolling down the hill, and there's no way to reverse the course now.
Yeah, this is what you don't want to see as a coach. You know, we talked to Matt Cohn before the game. He talked about how resilient his team was, bouncing back from that heartbreaking loss a week ago, and how, just like in life, you have to deal with adversity. His guys have done a great job doing that for Taylor. You know, looks like they have not shaken off that 1-point loss to Indiana Wesleyan from a week ago, and are sort of still licking their wounds. And right now things have just snowballed against them, and this game got out of hand, although this is not, these two teams are not 35 points difference.
New quarterback, Troy Kutcha, is in there. Probably see a lot of guys get opportunities. Chris Redway's in at center now. Hand off around the end, turning it, and LaPresto still on his feet. I thought he was out of bounds around the 12-yard line. Instead, he gets all the way to the 2.
Well, he's such an exciting runner. You know, we saw that 2 weeks ago here against Trinity International with the freshman Ethan LaPresto. When he gets that edge, you know, he lets his athleticism take over. And look, he does not go down. And again, just kind of fights for extra yards. He was clearly stepped out, but again, you have to love the effort there. Stayed with it. But apparently that call was not seen. It takes it all the way down inside the 3-yard line.
They don't have the challenge flag, so first and goal from the 2, and LaPresto goes banging into the heart of the line. Got right to the gates of the end zone and just held out. And there's our friend number 30, Mr. Jackson Bronkema. He's been probably the one guy who's really been in the middle of things constantly for Taylor this whole game.
Yeah, he's going to sleep well tonight. You know, he's really had his hands full. But what you have to love about LaPresto, he gets that hole in such a hurry.
They're going to give him another chance to get the touchdown. Looked like he tripped in the backfield. They might just keep going to him. Bronkema, and the PA guy says Bronkema again on the tackle. Yeah, it came off the edge and tripped him up. That's why he lost his footing. Clearly that ball was dead before they yanked it away. Unlike the other one, who was a little closer. High snap. This time they go to Jared Jordan. And looks like again he's short of the end zone.
So you see that Taylor defense has a guy in every gap. They're sending both their linebackers behind those guys. And they've had a couple good surges here. They're holding up like a stone wall. It looks like the Saints will get one more crack at it from inside the 1 foot line.
No, credit this Taylor defense for not just playing Olay style and letting them in. They're making them fight for it. I wonder if they'll barge into the line again or whether they'll try to go around that stellar line. Really, they had a lot of success just taking it up the gut in short yardage situations up until now. And Siena Heights calling a timeout. Remember, they've got a lot of their reserve personnel in, so they're learning a lot of those guys in this kind of game situation.
Yeah, right now, this is what you want to see for Taylor. You know, you want to just see the guys keep playing here, even though the game's out of reach. You want to keep playing hard.
Let's take a look here at some of the Saints go marching in, and a lot of guys have gotten into that number here today. And there's the first one, Gabe Calorie, and I still think that play really is what, more than anything else, took the helium out of the balloon for Taylor.
Well, school record scoop and score of 71 yards. It really set the tone for the rest of the day.
But every touchdown play is very well executed.
Yeah, there's Gerald King there with the catch.
And as I said, they've been having success just burrowing in from short yardage. Their play action has been working. Here's the one, that catch, and even from that fine angle, you can't quite tell whether it was inbounds. But he had his foot on the ground when he caught the ball. That much you can say for sure. 4th and 1. And I think they want to let these guys that have come in get the touchdown. And they are right on the line. Touchdown. They get it. And they got it for LaPresto.
Yeah, what an effort there. That was sheer effort. That time you saw the Trojans get good penetration from the perimeter there. Got in the backfield. And look how LaPresto right there about the 5-yard line. Then at the 2 he gets hit again, but he bowls his way into the end zone. And again, sheer effort in a 35-0 game. You have to love how these guys continue to play hard.
Now it's a 41-0 game. 3 guys had a chance to keep him out of the end zone. And it looked like they had blown up that play. Instead, they got blown up. 42-0 Saints. The Saints continue to march in. And that wind continues to wreak havoc with the ball placement on the tee. That's about a minor irritant as far as the Saints are concerned. But who would have thought the score would be what it is now when there was only 3 minutes left in the first quarter and the Saints offense hadn't even touched the ball. Then that fumble recovery for the touchdown, and it's been all Siena Heights ever since. Basically, they've done what they've done. They've done all this damage in scarcely over one half of football. And once again, they can't catch the kickoff. And he's going to be in trouble. They got him in the end zone for a safety.
88 to John Cotton mishandles the kick.
That is about the third one of those kicks that they have mishandled. It's like Janari Brown came in and made the stop.
That's a touchback. The ball was fumbled into the end zone, and once he picks it up, I believe that's a touchback.
Everybody's signaling safety down there on the sideline.
But once again, tremendous special teams play by Siena Heights, but poor special teams play from Taylor. Just a no-no there. You have to catch that football, and again, too many mistakes like that all afternoon. And I think the first one led to the second one, which led to the third one, and so forth. But it's been that kind of afternoon for Taylor University. One they need to put in their lost memory
You wonder
bank.
about that rule. If you mishandle the ball and then you don't down it and you try to run it out and they tackle you, then logically it should be a safety. But at any rate, that it's about the only break that Taylor's had all game. Handoff. And a good run there by Middlebrook. He ran well in the first half. They had a few of those miscues on fumble and near fumble. But he's had himself a decent day, and we saw the halftime stats indicating that the total yardage, even though it was 21-0 at halftime, was very close to even.
Yeah, if you looked at all those stats at halftime, you'd have no idea what the score was, and your guesses would not be anything near 21-0.
Late hit, out of bounds, number 7 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
They've continued to be exuberant on defense.
Takes the ball into St. territory to the 35-yard line. First and 10.
Yeah, he didn't have to ride him down there after he was out of bounds.
Yeah, it's one of the few mistakes we've seen this Saints defense make all afternoon.
Well, Sebastian Brown was coming off the field so hard three guys had to hold him up. You've got a second-string quarterback in now, Levi Frazier. And his pass is, again, underthrown to Kuchenberger. He heard footsteps, but it was a tough ball to field anyway.
Is incomplete, second down and 10.
Yeah, it was a tough pass thrown into a stiff wind. Actually, pretty well thrown ball, a little bit low, but again, those are the types of plays you have to make consistently, and that's just something Taylor's not been able to do here all afternoon. Results in a 2nd and 10 coming up for the Trojans.
Pass, once again, nearly broken up by Trenton Morrow. In fact, it was broken up. I think he got his fingertip on it. And they finally tried to go back to that big tight end, Preston Scott. I think I would build a major part of my offense around him based on what we've seen here today.
Well, give 6'4" Trenton Morrow a lot of credit. You know, he's done a great job on him all afternoon, and there you saw just, again, a tremendous read by Morrow. You can see why he has those 4 picks on the season. Was looking for number 5 right there, but could only get a hand on it.
Burdine in motion, setting up the screen, and that's just got all garbled up.
Saltzgaber's pass.
And let's go back down to the sideline to Brandon Lowe.
Upon a homecoming game, a lot of alumni return home to see their former school play, and one of those people is former head coach Jim Lyle. Jim, how does it feel to be back here today?
It's wonderful. To have an opportunity to see how far the program has come, to have a chance to visit with a lot of our former players and kids that won a championship here in 14. It's a tremendous feeling. It's difficult to put into words.
And then to return here nonetheless, but to see your successor here having a 42-0 lead, the program in good hands.
One of the things I did well is I hired well. I had a lot of very good coaches around me. They made me look really smart, and now they're carrying on the legacy. They're doing a tremendous job. They're one of the top NAIA programs in the nation.
And you were here since the start of the program in your last year in 15, the year after winning the championship. And now, like you just said, the program seems to be in good hands, so you must have done a pretty good job.
Well, I had a lot of help. I had great kids. They came here with a promise that we would give them an opportunity to be the first, to be the best, and to be champions. And they fulfilled it. The 4th year of that first class, they beat the best teams in this league and became champions of the East in the NAI, and it was wonderful.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, Coach.
Oh, you're very welcome. Go Saints. Thank you.
Jim Lyle, we were here for that first game, and he took over this program after a long, successful career at Adrian, and he played for the University of Michigan in those glory days. And pass out there on the right flat and out of bounds, but Bianchi Abdul Hakim getting the first down. Played for Bo Schembechler of Michigan. I'm sure learned a few things about coaching. Jim Lyle did.
I happened to run into Jim on my way to the hospitality room at the halftime break, and what a pleasure to talk to him and just to see his continued enthusiasm for this university and football program.
Same thing with Fred Smith, the recently retired AD, and he's still out here and contributing to the campus environment and still very much a part of the university. 2nd down and 5 after they pick up 5 yards. It's a great opportunity for these reserves to get in and get some action. I think that's part of the reason when it took them a few rehearsals to get the ball in there and on the goal line, but those kind of reps will help them when they become regulars.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this is valuable time for these guys. You know, they've worked just as hard as those guys ahead of them, and you know they've been just itching to get on the field. So you're going to see the continued effort. You know, these guys just need to get experience, but that's what they're getting right here. So this is a great opportunity for the Saints program to even develop more depth than they have.
That's why they've been able to build over the years, such as Coach Lyle was talking about there. You see all the guys on the sidelines with the yellow jerseys, and they're also in the program developing. He said it, they've become one of the top NAIA programs in the nation. Back to throw. Kutcha dishes it off and almost completes it, but not quite, as he spied open receiver, but unable to be hauled in there by Jalen Young. Jalen Young had 6 catches, 49 yards in the game last week.
The right idea. Young did a nice job coming back to the football, knew exactly where the chains were. If he could come up with that, I was going to move the sticks, be another 1st down, but that's a good hold there for Taylor. You know, something they've really not been able to do much since that opening quarter.
Kutcha did a good job buying time and set up the play to succeed. It just couldn't quite connect. What a high arcing kick once again, eliminating any possibility of return and fielded on the 19, so that'll be yet another kick for Caleb Meester to say that he pinned him inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, again, a 47-yard kick, and again, he's got such great hang time.
This time he didn't need the roll to get the 47 yards.
He's got the wind finally at his back this time, but again, 47 yards, great hang time. A lot of times you out-kick your coverage, but he kicks it so high, gives this guys time to get down there, and who would have thought they're going to pin him inside the 20-yard line when you're kicking from almost your own 30.
One thing, whether it's NAIA or Division I or the NFL, punting is punting. The way he's been going, who knows? Might find a team that can use his services down the road. Out of bounds, as they just don't allow any opportunity for Tavon Middlebrook to turn upfield. Cameron Bell, and on the stop, is getting practically the whole roster into the action here, which is one of the benefits of leading 42-0.
Yeah, again, just a valuable experience being had, and you're seeing tremendous effort there. You saw it there on 1st down, able to hold the Trojans to a measly gain of 2 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 8.
The best thing about it is these guys are playing for reps and they're playing for opportunities, so they're going to be going as hard as they possibly can. They chase Ricardo Marble, the 3rd quarterback Taylor has put into the game, out of bounds.
Run out of bounds by number 96, Joseph Wharton.
And he is run out by Joseph Wharton, 6'3", 235-pound redshirt freshman defensive lineman. Third and 6, another 3rd and long. That's the one thing that hasn't changed from the start of the game to the end. And incomplete, another punting situation for Taylor. In the 1st quarter, they got by with a couple of those 3rd and longs because Saltzgraber could run. He broke a tackle and made a 1st down, then almost did it again. And then they went for a 4th down because he got within a yard, and that was where the fumble occurred. But since then, they haven't been coming close on these kind of situations.
Yeah, you're right. In the first half, they're actually 5 for 8 and third down. A lot of those, as you mentioned, Greg, were third and long. But since then, Siena Heights has really figured them out.
Now this time, Stroh finding out that kicking into the wind is tougher than kicking against it or kicking with it. And the wind just knocked that down. And it was touched by Justin Pfaff, but didn't even get it past midfield.
Well, and Stroh's got a good leg, but you saw right there exactly how tough this wind has been, which really speaks volumes about how Caleb Meester has been able to really overcome that. And he has a different style when he kicks in the wind. He doesn't try to get the height. He tries to get a little bit more spiral on it. He relies on that friendly roll as well. It's been a good formula. He's been very successful again this afternoon the few times he's been needed.
Like hitting an approach shot in golf, if you can get the ball to land a certain way, you're much more liable to get the roll. And they pick up 8 yards on first down. This is another new running back on there who's not even on our depth chart. Guy Collins, right? And he picked up 6 yards. It doesn't even matter who it is. They're still getting those healthy chunks of yardage. And when you're playing second and medium to short yardage all afternoon, you're putting yourself in great position.
Yeah, and again, solid run by Collins, a guy that hasn't had a lot of reps, but he's making the most of them right here.
Goes again. And it's going to be within less than a yard of the required distance. Spencer Corona making the tackle. Third and a yard. So here's another chance for those reserve offensive linemen to blast off the line of scrimmage. And at this point in the game, playing against a fresh reserve versus a starter who's been in all day, might be even tougher the former than the latter. And there's Collins Wright with a first down. And he's like a boulder going downhill once he gets moving.
That's incredible, the depth they have. Here's a guy that we haven't called his name all afternoon. What's he do? He comes in right away, gets 3 solid runs. And again, another powerful runner. It's amazing the different skill sets some of these Siena Heights backs have. But the one thing they all have in common is they're hard-nosed. They have that downhill mentality. They're going to run right at you. They're going to make you earn it to bring you down.
Guy Collins Wright, 6'1", 230 pounds from Columbus. And I tell you what, he's carrying the rock here. This time going outside. He looks like he might be a little bit more of an inside threat than outside, as Evan Kitt kept him from turning upfield.
Well, that time he was trying to get to the edge, but tremendous pursuit there from the Trojans. Just had no chance to cut that upfield with just really running laterally the whole time. Ends up being a tackle for loss for the Trojans, as the Saints will be looking at 2nd and 12 here, just inside the Taylor University 40-yard line.
Well, let's see what they can come up with here on a challenging down and distance situation. They just give it back to Collins Wright. A high snap there and might have thrown the timing off a little. And they might as well go for this. They're in too tight to punt, and too far out for a field goal, and why not?
Yeah, right now they're getting guys reps right now. They're certainly not going to pour salt in the wounds, but they're going to try to get some yards here. They get some guys some valuable reps. And right now they'd love to get a first down where they might be able to possibly run this clock out here if they can move the chains one more time.
Still got the third down play to go. Then they might have a decision to make. But, it's a good thing to put the reserves in a position to have to face different situations. And now they're going to have that decision facing them as Collins Wright got down to the 31. They could try a 48-yard field goal against the wind and might have a shot at it.
4th down and 6.
Don't really see him punting from the 32-yard line.
Yeah, I think this is going to be 4 down territory. Looking at 4th and 6. And again, right now with the game not in jeopardy, I think they're just going to try to get another rep.
You don't want to, like you say, rub the score in, but there's a lot to be gained by having these guys out and having to execute in a situation like a 4th and 6 in a game situation, which is obviously much different than practice. Even in a 42-0 situation, you're playing against another team besides your teammates, and it's a good gauge of what you might be able to produce if you're in a more critical situation. But here they're going to take a delay of game penalty, which you feel is intentional, and they might actually then punt the ball away. So I just gave that speech about why it would be useful to see what they could do in the 4th and 10, but
I think, I think Matt Cohn's done a lot of class here. The fact that doesn't want to give any impression they're trying to run up the score, which they have not. They've just been very efficient all afternoon.
Of course, you can try to get the first down. Now, trying to maybe go deep for the end zone, and that would be a different situation. But that ball was caught just about the 1 yard line. He tried to keep it in play.
And that might sum up the day for Siena Heights right there. You saw the angle
for Taylor
from Meester, and that ball was caught. He got both feet down, and he got rid of it before he fell into the end zone. And that just epitomizes this whole football game. But look at the effort right here.
Perfect
Kept
play and a
the feet
perfect
in.
kick by Meester, and then the way that he was able to get it back into play before he fell into the end zone. You can't do it any better than that. If he'd have thrown that ball instead of kicked it, it'd have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and actually Taylor should have picked that football up once he touched it. They really got a free play there to pick it up and get what they can. But again, great special teams work there, something we've talked about. But they are going to rule it. He must
say it was out.
Toe must have been on the goal line.
I thought I saw the official downing it on the 1 yard line inside the 1. Now they're going to walk it back to the 20.
Yeah, now they got it right. I think they are going to. No, the 20-yard line. There we go.
That's where it should have been placed originally. They got it confused probably with the kickoff spot. But here's a look at it. I mean, I don't know.
I think the ball must have landed on the goal line there when he tossed it back. That's the only thing I could possibly see. Again, the effort was certainly there.
And they go up the middle for a yard. This is one of these games for Taylor. They were talking about it for Siena Heights with the kind of game they lost last week, and Taylor a similar type of situation, although it wasn't quite as heartbreaking, but for different reasons. You just have to forget about this. I don't even know if they really want to watch the game film of this, but obviously there's a few things they can pick up on, but it was just one of those days where everything went wrong.
Yeah, it really did, and again, somehow that last week seems to be hanging over these guys where you just didn't see that from Siena Heights. Both these teams had devastating losses, and the fact that Taylor now is going to be 0-2 in this Mideast Conference speaks volumes about how tough this league is. I mean, from head to toe. You have Concordia, who's ranked number 4 in the nation. You have Marion University, ranked 3 in the nation. You have St. Francis, ranked number 8 in the nation. And you're not even mentioning Siena Heights, who's ranked 21st in the nation. So what a conference there. That's all in the Mideast.
And they were in the top 20 last week. They were number 19, and they came within a play of beating the number 4 team. If they had done that, they'd been even higher. It's like 5 top 20 teams. And the pass is caught. And a first down to pad the stats a little bit for Taylor. I think the big lesson for them just has to be don't beat yourself. And lessons for Siena Heights, just resilience paid off. The refocusing and putting the tough loss behind them and just going out to play their best football game. And here now, what a difference a week makes. Pass, he was looking for a lateral there, but there just wasn't anyone available for Logan Benson. 2 seconds left in the game.
Greg, get back your point. I love what Matt Cohn told us before the game, how he said, by Tuesday, Concordia that's out of the picture. Everything, the focus was right here for today, this homecoming game. And that's hard to do, when you were that close to beat one of the top programs in the nation. just to come up a little bit shy, but then to have the resiliency to shake that off and come back and be even better the next week. I'm sure Coach Matt Cohn's awfully proud of his guys.
Absolutely. Downfield is probably a good thing for them that they had a homecoming game and a traditionally tough matchup coming, so that a lot easier to refocus for something like that. So the ball game is over, and Matt Cohn maybe putting a little something extra into those handshakes. And I think a lot of what the team did was a reflection of the coach. We were commenting beforehand just what an upbeat coach he is and what an enthusiastic coach he is. Just talking to him, you can just see that how can you dwell on anything negative when you got a guy like that at the head of the program?
You're right. We both mentioned that, after we got done talking to them earlier today, and it has to rub off on those guys. We saw that in their effort, their performance here today. With the win today, the Saints go to 5-1, get back to 500 in that tough Mideast Conference. They still have plenty of work to do, but they can continue to improve like they did from week 5 to week 6. This team's going to be awfully dangerous.
They got a couple of really tough games at the end of the season, but they play like they did today. There's no reason why they couldn't win one or both of those games, be in the picture for the conference and certainly for the playoffs. So that's it. Siena Heights with a really impressive win on homecoming over Taylor by a score of 42-0. From O'Loughlin Stadium, for Scoop Miller and Brandon Lowe and our crew, Greg Franke saying so long.